Hello everyone and welcome back. This is SoupaSoka and today we're playing a little more Brigador, but today it's completely different. What we're actually going to show you today is the debug mode, the developer mode, and it's super fun. It's actually maybe one of my favorite things about Brigador. It's not officially supported and it will remain in the game for the early access. I don't know if it'll be in there for the full release. I believe it will be, but they don't officially support it. So I'm going to show you how to access it and what you can do with it. So we're going to start off with new contract. We're going to grab I like the joust. We're going to grab the joust. And for the weapons, let's go with the autocannon. And let's go with double autocannon. Actually, you know what? Let's go with autocannon and cannon. That sounds good. For special, we'll just do the EMP grenade. Or let's do smoke projector. Except we're going to go to Solo Nobre, sorry, which is just like a collection of the inner and outer levels. And we'll just start with the rail yard. So that's fine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're in here. Right, this is our normal vehicle, the joust. We've got some weapons, no big deal. There's our autocannon, there's a regular cannon, has kind of a splash effect. So the way this works is, go into the game, press the F1 key, then you get this debug menu that pops up. And actually, we got some bad guys coming up here. I'm going to blow them up real quick, make sure we're in the clear for a moment. So basically, press F1, you get this debug menu. And now when you see the debug menu, it might actually look something like this. It might be very small and squished. See this little gray tab in the bottom right? You need to grab that, drag, and make the menu bigger so you can see all of your options. Once you're in there, you can see this is kind of the, let's go ahead and blow this guy up. See, we're kind of in this developer mode, and what this means, you can do all sorts of crazy things. So we're going to start by going to God mode, select player. Now, we can't die. It doesn't matter what anyone does to us, we're not going to die. We can see this tank's going to shoot us, and we're not taking any damage. We're just getting hit by the tank, and we're just going to chill. That's the first thing you can do. You can set up God mode. Then, turn on infinite ammo. Now, your ammo will drain when you shoot, but it'll go into negatives. It's infinite, essentially. So that's the first thing you can do. You can set up infinite ammo in God mode. I like turning that on right away. It's kind of fun to mess around with. There's a couple other fun things you can do in here. You can turn on some of these weird collision avoidances, and it shows some lines that kind of explain some of the physics of the engine. There's some influence maps, which I actually like a lot. It shows your threat. I'll move this out of the way. It shows your threat nearby for civilians. As you get closer, it kind of changes. It's kind of a fun mode. You can see some enemy threat, player threat, tension, safe, all these different things. It's very cool. I'm going to turn that off for now. And then finally down miscellaneous. This is one of the cooler things. You can actually show some hitboxes. So let me see. So we can show, where is it? Unit hitboxes, prop hitboxes. So you can kind of show your hitboxes on and off. It does lag a little more when you start doing that. You can draw some scenery hitboxes, and there's all sorts of interesting things you can show with this. I like it. It's fun to play around with. I also like you can show kind of the memory usage up here, and make some visibility of how like the AI is sensing things. This is sort of the AI's kind of line of sight. There's many other things. I'm not a developer. I don't understand exactly what we're looking at, but there's a lot of cool things you can show with it. So that's pretty fun. That's under the main menu tab right here. So we're going to shrink these menus down. Now, here is where things get completely crazy. Go to Mek Debug. Move the menu out of the way, and let's get our mech up here a little bit. Now you go to Mek Debug, you'll see if you highlight over your mech, the little yellow circle pops up. Go ahead, get that yellow circle, left mouse click on your mech. Now, we have this sort of menu where we can modify our mech. So, right now we have health. If you see this, we drop this and lower this. This is our current health. We can also set our maximum health, and we can raise our max health up a bunch. So you can modify your health on the fly as you're playing the game. You can modify your current armor, and your max armor, and we can crank this way up, max health way up, and we're just gonna make our guy super beefy. And we're already God mode, so it doesn't matter anyway. But you can do crazy things like this. It's really fun. This is actually our armor is draining, so we have this overshield that's gonna drain down. You can change that in some other settings, but we're gonna lower this stuff for now. We can also do a couple other fun things, like we can modify our size, and it shrinks I think our hitbox will shrink with that. You can also modify your height. Which doesn't really do a lot, but what it ends up changing is your where you're shooting from. So you see the arc of our weapon, this red and blue line. If we put it down here, it's very low to the ground. If we put it all the way at the top, we're actually going to fire over other things. So we can see what happens now. If I shoot over here, let me close the menu. Oops, I forgot to save it. Let's go back. We'll click on our mech. Where are we at? Height. I think this is what we need, and so I'm actually failing with this. That's okay. So I'm having some trouble showing you how to do the height, how to save it, but this is where the fun part is. Okay, so go down, scroll a little bit down, go to guns. Oh, one thing I do enjoy, you can set the hover height, so you can float your guy like way up in the air if you want. I think it's kind of fun. You gotta actually select your mech again afterwards. Where is the selection? There it is. Okay. It is kind of fun to hover really high. So, go to your guns down here. And you see we've got our cannon, turret 1, turret 2. These are our primary and secondary weapons. So if you click the menu, click the weapon, and then click the other weapon, now it goes to the data editor. And in the data editor, now you've selected your 2 weapons. So if you look at our 2 weapons, the main weapon has like a third of a second cooldown, right? 0.3. If we just hold in the trigger, it shoots every third of a second. If we do our secondary weapon, it's actually got like a 1.75 cooldown. So it's very slow. We're holding in the right mouse button, shooting very slowly. But let's speed that up a little bit. This is the cooldown for our secondary weapon. We're going to crank that down to 0, and we're going to hold right mouse and see what happens. Yeah, so you get an idea of what's going on here. And let's go to our main weapon. And it's got a cooldown of 0.3. That's pretty nice. Let's lower it all the way down to 0. It's a bit more fun. And now we can do this fun stuff. That's pretty cool, right? So that's fun to start. But, you know, we want to change it a little bit more. So we're going to go back to our secondary weapon. And every time I click, this is what happens. So it shoots out a, kind of a barrage of ammo. And it can kind of spam it. It looks really cool. It's very fun. Puts a nice stress test on your graphics card and your processor. But that's not good enough. So, well, let's go to this. Let's see. Okay, so we've got our main weapon. So I'm left mouse clicking right now. Main weapon. Every time I click, it just shoots out a couple bullets. That's fine. Well, let's go ahead and change the shot count. Let's push this up to 10. Now we click, and we're shooting a bunch of bullets each time. Change the burst count to 10. And what else can we do with this? Let's see. This is autocannon recoil impulse. So you can change your ammo capacity, change the muzzle velocity, and some of these things I haven't quite figured out what's going on just yet. To be honest, I don't exactly know all of the things. Here's one of the more fun things. Okay, so right now if we shoot, it's a pretty straight line directly at our target. If we go to accuracy cone width, and let's set it up to about 30 degrees. Now if we fire, we're actually a little crazy. Let's set it to like 6 degrees, 7 degrees. Now we're firing more of a cone. You can almost see the cone shape as we shoot. And that's pretty fun, but I really like to set this up to 360. So now when we click, let's see what happens. We're basically shooting in all directions. We have a 360 degree angle. And what else do we want to do? Let's change this. Let's maximize our range. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and test this out. So let's take one click and see what happens. So we're firing like this. We're just going to roll through. We got God mode on, don't forget that. And let's just hold down the fire button. Yeah, so we're basically sending everything, we're just basically completely nuking everything right now on the map. And even my system's lagging a little bit. There's a lot of parts flying around as we do this. So just aim right close to us and just click and hold it for a moment. Looking pretty good, right? We're taking stuff out pretty nice. Looks pretty good. Let's go back in here and let's go to our secondary weapon. And let's change this one to have a firing aggro radius of about, let's say accuracy cone width, about 35 degrees. And let's see what that looks like. So that gives kind of a more straightforward shot. It's pretty nice. We're going to maximize burst, maximize ammo capacity, recoil impulse. Let's max that out. I don't know what that means. Let's do it. Let's firing aggro radius. We'll turn that up. Range, maximize. And let's just see what happens now. So now we've got kind of a focused burst forward. Pretty good stuff, right? Alright, so let me show you a few other things. Let's hold down the left mouse click to clear some of this stuff up. And my system's lagging a little bit from this. There's a lot of stuff being generated right now. Let's go a few other things. So we can go to graphics info, and we can show a few fun things. You can see some of, I call them nerd stats. You can see your graphics card. I've got a 750 Ti. You can see the memory usage, some buffers being drawn. So it's kind of fun. You can see some cool things there. Go to rendering control. This is actually kind of cool. You can kind of do some visual modifications. You can turn on diffuse mode, changes the way everything looks completely. You go to normals, it gives you this kind of, I don't know what you call this, really crazy, but it's kind of fun. You basically change the graphics a lot, and materials changes it even further. Let's go back to default. You can turn on and off gamma compensation. You can see it changes the lighting, right? If you look at the light, the headlight of that kind of goes on and off. Pretty fun. You can do some very specific modifications, occluded colors. I haven't touched that at all yet. You can modify your active camo, and you can go to salvage and damage darkening, some other things. So there's that. And then if you go to, let's say, pack file, and you select the type of filter, and let's go to, what is it, resource. There's many settings in here, but this is the categories. I mean, if you go to all, it shows all 15,000 files. That's a little complicated, so I like to go down and narrow it to certain resources. So we go to Resource, Hoverability. Let's find Hoverability. Okay, and there's 4 of them. And you can see which ones are loaded. So you can sort by loaded, click loaded, sorts them. And I actually don't know which one goes to our vehicle. I think this one, Hoverability's mid, is for the Joust, which is what we have. So when you click these files, it loads them into the data editor. So you go into the data editor, you can see we already got our guns in here. And let's go to this Hoverability mid. And let's set hover height. So you can see as I lower this, our vehicle's actually lowering to the ground. And if I raise it back up, it goes all the way back to the top. Then you can do hover frequency. You can see we're slightly going up and down slowly as we are just hovering there. But if we maximize this, let's see what happens. We actually are hovering much faster now, right? Much more rapidly. And then I like to change the hover amplitude, because I think it's a little more fun if we're really bouncing around like this. So you can maximize that. Let's do the ascent speed, maximize that. Descent speed, let's maximize that too, I don't know. Stomp radius. So here's where things get fun. Okay, so let's move up to, let's find something we haven't blown up yet. Okay, we're gonna go up to here. Okay, so if we stomp right here, we're not damaging these nearby buildings at all, these doodads. If you go a bit closer, now we're stomping them. But if we change the stomp radius and maximize that, let's see what happens now. Now we're stomping things even farther away. So we actually increase our stomp radius. And then, you know, this 50 damage is nice. We can see if we go up to everything's... Hold on a sec. We gotta kill some of these guys before they blow up all of our stuff. Whew. RIP system resources. Oh my gosh. Alright. I'm gonna move up here. I should have not held it quite as long on that button. I'm gonna stomp these guys down. Because they're blowing up all of our stuff, and we need to clear them out so we can actually show you a little more about the stomp mechanics. Okay, so if I go up to, let's say over here, and this thing, if I stomp once, it blows it up most of the way, but it still has some leftover parts. So we're going to go down here and change the damage to 250, and now we're going to go up to this stuff, and let's just see what happens when we stomp. And now we blow up, completely destroy it. So you can actually modify your stomp damage, and you can do some fun stuff where you can just run through now and stomp everything down super easily, which just kind of, I'm just showing you one of the things you can do with this data editor. Let's see, stomp radius, low fly, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. So what else do we have to show off? We can go back to pack file, and if we go to our, I think it's gun ability, and I think we have a smoke weapon right now. So click smoke. This is also the EMP gun. We go to smoke, go to data editor, and let's see, this is the smoke. So let's show you. So if we click the middle mouse button, we fire off our smoke grenades. And let's see, is that right? So the cooldown's 20 seconds right now. We're just going to lower this cooldown to 0. I think this should modify it properly so we have no cooldown. Let's see what happens when it finishes cooling down. 2. I'm looking in the top left. Okay, so now we can just spam it as much as we want. And you can see I've already modified it, so I'm getting multiple shots out of it instead of just a single smoke. But you can completely smoke out everything this way. So there's lots of different things you can do with this. There's so much you can do in the pack files. If you go in here and just look through them, there's tons of things you can change. They're not very well labeled, so it does take a while. But the most fun I've personally had is going to Mek Debug, selecting my mech, loading up my weapons, and then just going crazy with them. So we're going to press F1 to get out of here. I'm going to resign. We're going to go get some different weapons this time. Let's go to the Dragon Wagon, and let's try... Oh, I don't know what we want. Let me see. Let's get the howitzer. So we're gonna use the tank, the prowler. We're gonna do the howitzer and the rocket. Let's do that, and we're gonna accept, and we're gonna accept, and we're gonna do random. That's fine. Okay. Now you have to keep in mind these settings. When you change them, they will stay kind of permanently changed. It's really hard to fix things once you've done that. For me, the easiest way was just to uninstall the game and then re-download it from Steam. That was the easiest way I found to reset everything. There might be better ways, but that's the best I could come up with. Okay, you're gonna go to pack file, and you're gonna clear all selections. This will, data editor, and then a clear file list. That'll clear everything out. And we're gonna go to Mek Debug, and we're gonna highlight our mech again, left mouse click, and we're gonna click our first weapon, go back to Mek Debug, click our second weapon, and now we've got our weapons loaded up in the data editor. Okay, so in here, let's show the weapons off first. Main primary weapon shoots kind of straight shot. We're gonna blow up some people. It's like a 3-second cooldown. The right click has this kind of much larger arc. Still pretty slow, right? 2-second cooldown. That's fun and all, but it's a little slow for me. So we're gonna go back in here, And we're going to modify this cooldown to be less than 2.5 seconds. We're just going to make it 0. So now we're left mouse clicking, and we can just hold it down, and it goes pretty well for us. Let's go back to main. We still have infinite ammo in player set, so if I left mouse click and hold it, you can see we're going to negative ammo. And I'm just rapid firing this right now. That's pretty fun. So let's go back to data editor, and let's change the range to max. Burst cooldown to 0, and let's change the accuracy. Let's leave the accuracy alone. Let's change the shot count to 10. So now every time I click, it's just firing tons, like 10 shots every click. So we're just gonna hold this down and see what happens. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Let's go out here and test this out a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like that weapon. I don't know about you guys, but I think I could totally be a developer for this game. Oh, we're gonna blow up that guy. He's got the speed bounce thing going too. And we're just gonna laser beam all this stuff down. Oh, the lag though. The lag. Okay. Oh, these guys are running away. We're gonna make sure they get toasted. Okay, that's good. So now our right mouse click our auxiliary weapon. We haven't modified that yet. Let's go back. Let's drop this cooldown to 0. And we're gonna shoot this a little bit and see how it looks. Oh, pretty good. Oh, you see it's got some recoil on this boy. So when you shoot it, we actually bounce back. And we can completely... We're actually just going backwards as we're shooting. Because we're recoiling so much. So our recoil is actually pushing us right now. So that's kind of fun. And recoil impulse, let's change that to 500 and see what happens. Is that going to push us back further? Yeah, there we go. So now we're really zipping around. We're not playing around with this anymore. Oh my gosh, we're basically teleporting across the map because of our recoil. And that's pretty good, but let's also turn up the shot count, turn up the burst count. Let's maximize the range. Let's make this cone a little crazier and see what happens. Let's actually change this to 360. Let's see what happens now if we're completely randomly shooting. Okay, so that's pretty fun. Let's go back to 0 so we have good accuracy, and we're gonna turn this off. All right, so now this is what we got. We've got our primary weapon, laser beam like, no recoil. Secondary weapon, tons of recoil, and we're just doing whatever we want to do now. Let's wipe out this whole area. So, okay. That's all I wanted to show you today. The things can get crazy. What's gonna get out of here? Blow that up. It's completely ridiculous what you can do with this data editor. And just to remind you, press F1 key. That'll bring up the menu. You have to kind of make it a little bit larger. It sometimes pops up like this. You have to grab the little bottom right engraved square, drag it out so you can see more, and then press F1 again to drop the menu. It's pretty ridiculous though. I haven't seen this in other videos yet, so I'm not sure if a lot of people know about it, but I've had a ton of fun with it, and I totally recommend you play around with it. Don't mess with it right away. Start off playing the game like a normal person, but then if you find yourself, clearing it pretty well, you get through it, and a few weeks later you want to mess around a little bit more, this is where the replayability comes in. You can have some fun stuff. I believe you can even modify the figures, like the graphics in the game. I'm not totally sure on that, but I think you can. If you go down here and you click on some of these, load up some of these resources, go to data editor, then you can see some of these things. Actually, you can't change it here, but some of the things I'm pretty sure you can modify through some of these files. I haven't done it myself, but I believe you can in some way. But anyway, so that's everything for today. Just a reminder, this is what's going on. We got this crazy recoil. We're just shooting all over the place, and I'm lagging out my system. It's a little ridiculous. Hopefully the audio comes through okay. Anyway, that's everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Brigador by the Stellar Jockeys. It's out on October 16th, 2015 on Steam as an early access. I've had a ton of fun with it. I totally recommend it. It's early to call it a review. I don't want to review anything yet. It's just too early. But I've had a ton of fun in the pre-early access stages. So anyway, that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.